All right, guys, welcome to Unit 11 on polars. Polars is basically going to be positions. We're going to be using the unit circle to find them. So basically how it's going to work is instead of plotting points x, y, you're going to be plotting r, theta. So r is the directed distance from O to point P. O is the origin, P is whatever point, which would be the basically where your y is located. And then r is the directed distance from those points, as shown here, kind of like a radius. And then theta is like the measure of the angle. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just start plotting some, and it's going to show you just how simple it really is. In my opinion, it's always easier to start with, well, obviously you have to start with the y coordinate or the theta or wherever you're supposed to be on the unit circle. So for us, that's pi over 3. So we can't do anything until we know where to go. So it's going to be somewhere on this line segment for pi over 3. From the origin, we go 2. So that means 1, 2. And we plot our point. All right, we're going to do it again. We have 3 and then negative pi over 4. So we're going to go negative pi over 4. From the origin, 1, 2, 3. All right, so you've seen where we've had a negative measure. We've already worked with those before. Now let's look at where it's a negative measure and a negative r. So 11 pi over 6, negative 11 pi over 6 is up here where pi over 6 is. So from the origin, we go negative 4. All right, that means 1, 2, 3, 4. So we went backwards 4 instead of forwards, and that gives us point C. And then we have negative 2, 4 pi over 3. So let's find 4 pi over 3, which is right here. And then negative 2, 1, 2. So that puts us at the same location as A, because obviously if it's a positive x coordinate, you'll go towards this number. And if it is negative, you'll go away from it. All right, to plot point A, find the line for the angle and then radiate 2 units. For negative values, plot in the opposite direction, just as you've seen. All right, we are going to convert from polar to rectangular. So we're taking r comma theta and we're converting it to x comma y. So we are going to use these two formulas which we used in unit 9. Y equals r sine theta and x equals r cosine theta. I'm actually going to pull up my Desmos as well so that I can solve these. So all we're doing is using the formulas. So for x, we would have r, which is 2, cosine pi over 6. All right, you can plug, you don't have to plug these into the calculator, and I think we're actually not going to use Desmos for these. It looks like we're going to be having those measures in square root form. So we would just go find what cosine is at pi over 6, which is square root of 3 over 2. And so it'd be just 2 times the square root of 3 over 2, which cancels out to just be the square root of 3 is x. All right, and then we will do the same thing for y. Y is equal to 2 sine of pi over 6. All right, and I'm actually going to switch to a pen so you guys can read it a little bit better. So we have 1/2, which just leaves us with 1. All right, so our coordinate switching into x and y is square root of 3 comma 1, since this is x and this is y. All right, we're going to do the same thing here. X is equal to r, which is 3, times cosine of 3 pi over 2. Cosine at 3 pi over 2 is going to be down here, which is 0. So we have 3 times 0, so x is equal to 0. All right, y is equal to 3 times sine at 3 pi over 2, which is -1. So 3 times -1, so y is equal to -3. And that gives us our coordinates as 0, -3. All right, and finally we have x is equal to -2 cosine -pi/3. So we're going to find -pi/3, which is going to be down here. Cosine is 1/2, so we have -2 times 1/2, which just gives us -1 as x. All right, and then we have y is equal to -2 sine of -pi/3. And that's -√3/2 times -2. Those 2's cancel out, but so do the negative sign. So we're left with just y is equal to the square root of 3. So our coordinate is -1 square root of 3. All right, so you're just converting here. No need to use Desmos. You want to keep it in square root form since we're writing it as coordinates. All right, so now we're going to go, we just went polar to rectangular. Now we're going to go rectangular to polar. So we're going to be using our tangent is equal to y/x, and x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared, since we have to find both of these things. So 2, 2. This is x and y. Now, in this situation, r is always positive. All right, just keep that in mind. Let's do our x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. So that means 2 times 2, 4, plus 4 is equal to r squared. 8 is equal to r squared. That means r is equal to the square root of 8. If we wanted to simplify this, 4 times 2 is 8. We could pull out square root of 4 times square root of 2, which is 2 square roots of 2 as r. All right, and then to find our theta, we have tangent is equal to 2/2, which means that tangent is equal to 1. So tangent to the -1 of 1, in this case, is going to be pi/4. We always look at the first quadrant first. All right, so I've actually got my tangents labeled here, and I would suggest you do the same. It just kind of makes things easier. You know how to solve for them and find them, but I don't want you to waste your time having to do that. So I know that tangent is 1 at pi/4, and that's where that kind of comes from. So when we're writing this, our coordinate will kind of look like 2 square roots of 2, comma, pi/4. All right, so now we have x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. We have 1 plus 0 is equal to r squared. R is equal to 1. We already know that r is going to be equal to the square root of 1. Square root of 1 is 1. All right, so then we have tangent theta is equal to 0/-1. That means it's undefined. I already know that that's going to be here. There's only 2 locations where tangent's undefined, and that is on the x-axis. This one is 0/1. This one is 0/-1, so pi is going to be where tangent is 0/-1. All right, so we will write this as 1 comma pi. Okay, last one. And then I'll probably break and do this on a separate video. So we have x squared, square root of 3 squared, plus -1 squared is equal to r squared. So square root of 3 squared is just 3. -1 squared is 1. That means 4 is equal to r squared. That means r is equal to 2. All right, tangent is equal to -1 over the square root of 3, which is also known as the negative square root of 3 over 3, which is going to be down here. This is going to be our negative pi over 6, or 11 pi over 6. We'll just write it as 11 pi over 6. All right, so then we just have 2, 11 pi over 6. Okay, I am going to finish this up on another video.